Money was never created to make you free, it was created to control you. From the moment you entered this world, someone else decided the price of your work, the value of your time, and the limits of your future. And the strange thing is, most people never question any of it. You wake up every day, chasing something that was designed to stay just out of reach. You feel the pressure of bills, the weight of debt, the fear of losing your job, the stress of not having enough, and you think it's just life? But what if I told you it's not? What if I told you this entire system, the money system itself, was engineered, step by step, to shape the way you behave, the way you think, and even the way you see yourself? Today, you're about to see the part of money they never want you to understand. Most people believe money is neutral. Just a tool, a piece of paper or a number on a screen, something you earn, spend, save, repeat, a simple exchange that helps society function, nothing more. People go to work thinking, if I just work harder, if I just save more, if I just get a better job, everything will get easier. But the truth has never been that simple. Money is not neutral, money is a system of power. A system designed to keep most people dependent, stressed, and obedient, while a very small group stays in control. You're not broke because you're lazy, you're not behind because you're not trying, you're not failing because you're weak, you're struggling because you're playing a game where the rules are rigged, the board is tilted, and the house always wins. But to see the truth, you have to go back, way back, before apps, before banks, before credit scores, before the world became addicted to numbers on glowing screens. Thousands of years ago, humans didn't use money, they bartered. I give you food, you give me tools, I build your house, you give me grain, no middleman, no interest rates, no government telling you your work is worth $20 an hour. People traded value for value. The system worked because it was simple, fair and human. But power hates what it cannot control. And kings, rulers, and empires quickly realized something dangerous. You can't tax freedom, you can't track barter, you can't dominate a population that doesn't need you to survive. So they created the first version of money, not to help people, but to control them. Gold coins were minted with the faces of rulers, not because people needed shiny metal, but because governments wanted to standardize value. When you control the value of trade, you control the people who trade. Suddenly, the king could tax every transaction. Suddenly, the empire could collect wealth, not from creating value, but from owning the system itself, and governments quickly learned an even darker trick: if you control money, you don't need to ask for power. People give it to you automatically. Look at Rome, when they wanted more money, they melted coins and reminted them with less gold. The coins looked the same, but the value wasn't. Inflation was born, people worked the same, traded the same, lived the same, but their money quietly lost value. And so began a pattern that would shape the world for thousands of years, leaders manipulating money to manipulate society. Fast forward to 1694. England was drowning in war debt and the government was desperate. And in that desperation, a group of wealthy merchants and bankers made a proposal that changed history. They would create a bank, a private bank, to lend money to the government in exchange for guaranteed interest. Not interest paid by the king, but by the people through taxes. And just like that, the Bank of England was born. A bank not owned by the public, but by private interests, a bank that would lend money created out of thin air, and collect real money in return. The modern debt system began here. Imagine paying rent for a house you never lived in. That's what citizens were forced to do. Work, produce, create, only to hand over more and more through taxes to pay interest on loans they never agreed to. A system where money is created as debt, and the people must work forever to service it. This structure spread like wildfire across the world. But nothing shaped the modern world more than what happened in 1913. The United States, facing banking panics and financial instability, was vulnerable. And during a holiday season, in a quiet room on Jekyll Island, a group of private bankers drafted a bill that would change everything, the Federal Reserve Act. Passed when most lawmakers were away, it handed control of America's money supply to a private central bank. From that moment, money was no longer tied to the people, it was tied to debt. The Fed could create money anytime, lend it to the government, and charge interest. Printing money became easy, inflation became normal, and your savings became weaker every year. Think about that. You work harder, money works softer. The value of your paycheck shrinks, the cost of living rises, and no matter how hard you try, you're always chasing a moving target. Your grandparents could buy a house with a single income. But today, 2 incomes can barely rent a small apartment. Your parents could attend college without drowning in debt. Today, education chains you for decades. Your ancestors saved money and watched it grow. Today, saving without investing means losing your money slowly. None of this is an accident. When the dollar was removed from the gold standard in 1971, when money became pure fiat, the system completed its transformation. Money was no longer backed by anything, not gold, not silver, not labor, just trust. Trust in governments, trust in banks, trust in systems that profit from your dependence. When money is backed by nothing, your time becomes backed by nothing, your labor becomes a product someone else can dilute at will. And then came the global era. Institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, and SWIFT created an international financial hierarchy. Nations became borrowers, countries became financially dependent. And the same debt-based structure that controls individuals now controls entire governments. Your cost of living isn't set by the market, it's set by decisions made in rooms you will never see, by institutions you will never meet, for reasons you will never be told. And still, you blame yourself every time you struggle, you blame yourself when inflation rises, you blame yourself when your money loses value, you blame yourself for not saving enough, not earning enough, not being financially smart enough. But how do you win a game where the rules change every year, and the people changing the rules never lose? Every decade, the gap between the wealthy and the working class gets wider, not because the rich work harder, but because they own the system, they own assets, they own cash flow, they own debt, they own the very structure that determines prices, wages, and economic reality. You're not competing with people. You're competing with a machine. Now let's talk about the part they really don't want you thinking about. The future, because the next evolution of money isn't just about control, it's about surveillance. Central bank digital currencies, programmable money, the kind of currency that doesn't just track what you spend, but decides it. Money that can expire, money that can block certain purchases, money that adjusts your interest rate based on your behavior, money that can be shut off with a single click. Imagine waking up and finding your account frozen because of something you posted online. Imagine trying to travel, only to learn your spending permissions have been restricted. Imagine receiving your salary, but being told you can only use it for approved categories. Imagine a world where cash no longer exists, no privacy, no autonomy, no escape route. Every transaction, every habit, every movement, monitored and analyzed. Now imagine this technology combined with social credit scoring. You're late paying a bill. Your spending limit drops. You speak out against something publicly. Your money becomes unusable, you buy something the system doesn't approve of. Your wallet is temporarily disabled. This isn't imagination. Countries are already testing it, governments are already developing it. And companies are already building the infrastructure. The truth is, once money becomes fully digital and centrally controlled, freedom becomes an illusion. Because if they can control your money, they don't need to control anything else, your behavior will control itself. So where does that leave you? What do you do in a world where money was never designed to protect you? How do you survive in a system that rewards dependence and punishes independence? How do you secure your future when the future of money itself is becoming a tool of surveillance? Drop your thoughts on the comments section and tell us how you feel about this. Now, how do you beat the system? First step is understanding. Understanding how you're being controlled is the beginning of breaking the control, and in the next episode, we're going deeper. We're breaking down the strategies, the tools, and the mindsets ordinary people can use to protect themselves, even in a financial system built to keep you powerless. Because once you understand how money controls your life, you finally learn how to control your future. If your eyes were open on this episode, please hit that like and subscribe button, because your encouragement keeps us going and bring more interesting content to you.